Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dodgers Zoom party. I am Alana Rizzo with Spectrum Sportsnet LA, and this Dodgers Zoom party is our fifth one so far of this very strange spring training season. It's brought to you by Blue Shield as well as Spectrum. And as always, we ask that you guys go ahead and take a picture of yourselves watching this Zoom party. Take a selfie. Make sure you use the hashtag Dodgers Zoom party, and we will try to play as many of those back to you when Dieter Rule plays the seventh inning stretch. Before we get started, I want to introduce you to our esteemed panel of guests, if you will. Most of these guys are active players with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and one guy kind of heading up the entire thing. And that guy is Andrew Friedman, president of baseball operations, with the Peloton behind him, the playoff beard going on. Andrew, welcome to your Zoom call. AJ Pollock in the car, but doing everything he can to be with us. Welcome, AJ Pollock, the new dad entering his second year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Walker Buehler, All-Star in 2019, 14-4 record, 3.26 earned run average, 215 punch-outs in 2019. Walker is with us. Ross Stripling, who is a media sensation at this point, doing everything he can in the media realm, the 2018 All-Star as the starting pitcher, entering, I can't believe it, your fifth season already with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jock Peterson in the Lakers gear, the backwards hat, joining us again. Jock, thank you so much. 36 home runs last year for young Jock. We will talk to him in just a minute. Gavin Lux, 9 RBIs in 23 games in your debut season. Looking forward to a full season at some point with you, Gavin Lux. Welcome. And then Steve Sachs, the only non-active player, but we still see him at the ballpark quite a bit. Part of that 1981 and 88 World Series championship teams. 5-time All-Star. Saxy, very good to see you guys as well. But first things first, AJ Pollock, welcome to your first Zoom party, and congratulations to you and your beautiful wife, Kate, on the birth of your daughter, Maddie May. What's it like being a dad, AJ?
It's incredible. It's weird because I wasn't expecting it for at least a couple more months, but it's been awesome. It's been great seeing her progress. She was born super early, but she's gotten bigger, stronger, and it's been a lot of fun watching her.
Yeah, a lot of us have been in quarantine. Of course, you and Kate have had a different kind of quarantine. 68 days in the hospital already. Maddie May coming into this world. Couldn't wait to meet her parents, coming in at 24 weeks. And she's getting better and she's healthy. How's that progress going for your sweet little girl?
It's great. It's been a wild ride because, I mean, like you said, we've just been pretty much going every single day. Everyone's talking about how much downtime they've got. And I feel like we have like 20 hours in our day. It literally just, the days disappear because we're just, I'm working out and then we're going to the hospital and just, we're going back and forth so many times. No concept of what month it is or anything, but she's doing great. I think that's what's keeping us going, is she's just doing so well. And she's 4 pounds, 3 ounces now. She was born at 1.6 pounds. So she's doing great.
Incredible. Making a lot of good progress. And AJ, I'm sure you know this by now, but you'll never have any time again. Like, life is, it is over. You and Kate will never have any time. You'll never sleep again. So Andrew has kids of his own, of course, 3 little ones running around. Andrew, what type of parental advice can you give to AJ, who thinks that he's going to get a good night's sleep at some point, but he's actually not?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. I think for right now, we can give him some false hope that he'll get a great night's sleep and he'll hit REM sleep and get a good 8-9 hours a night. And we'll let him find out the hard way.
Doc, what about you? You obviously are a dad to Poppy. You and your beautiful wife, Kelsey, have a son on the way. Any advice for the new dad? And AJ, what do you remember about becoming a dad for the first time?
Yeah, the sleeping is definitely one you don't catch up on for a while, or maybe not ever. So, yeah, just get used to waking up at about 7 a.m. every day. So it's exciting though. It's a lot of joy, a lot of love towards someone that you never thought you could feel. So wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, no question about that. AJ, again, congratulations to you and Kate. And Jock, we're going to open up the fan questions with you.
Ooh.
This one coming to you about a little guy that is, first of all, well, we're gonna start with the female question for you. A fan named Heather. She said she met you a couple of times and shares the same birthday as Poppy. She's wondering what the due date is for your latest addition, who we know is going to be a son.
Due date is in September, and it has moved a few times. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But like AJ, it could come anytime. But we should aim for early September, I would say.
All right, early September. So regardless if we had a normal season or this crazy season that we're about to have, you guys would be playing. So hopefully,
Yeah.
You can schedule it on a off day, if you will. All right, this is a video question for you, Jock. Let's go ahead and roll that video, guys.
Hey Dodgers, my name is Yakov, and Jock Peterson, this question is for you. I play in Little League, and I got hit by a pitch, and now every single time I go to the plate, I'm very nervous and it's hard for me to swing. Can you give me some tips?
All right, Jock, so you've been hit 39 times in 2,379 plate appearances. So do you have any tips for stepping into the box if you've just recently been hit by a pitch, perhaps in your previous at bat for this little guy?
Yeah, that's tough. Those pitchers throw hard and they don't have very good aim. So when they hit you, it hurts for sure. The best advice I can give you is probably I'm selling for Evo Shield, but wear Evo Shield. For some reason, you usually get hit in the same spots quite a bit. So you just wear a little bit of extra protective gear. But yeah, you definitely don't want to step in the box being scared of the ball. I don't think that would turn into a good result. So you got to get that confidence back and then get back in there.
All right, get right back in there. And guys, if all of you can go ahead and unmute yourselves, because I'll be coming to you kind of rapid fire. The next fan question is for Walker Bueller, who never hits anybody on purpose, right? Walker, you never would ever do that. Here is a fan question for you on getting mentally prepared.
Hello, my name is Luke Hopman, and I'm 11 years old, and I also pitch. This question for Walker Bueller. How do you mentally get ready to pitch when you're facing the best of the best in the MLB?
For me, I think the other guys can attest that, my mental preparation is pretty relaxed throughout the day. And then there's a certain point where I kind of try and lock in. It works sometimes, it doesn't others. But, I think trying to keep everything as similar to your normal day as you can is what's worked for me.
Walker, what about confidence? How much of your confidence plays into getting mentally prepared to face the best of the best?
Yeah, I think that's obviously a big deal. I think people kind of, show their confidence in different ways, whether that be through really strict routines or being really kind of easygoing. And, I've tried both and go with the more easygoing route now.
Oh, I didn't know Walker had confidence. That has eluded me this whole time.
Speaking of Walker and his confidence, Andrew, we're coming up on the draft in about a couple of weeks. So first question for you is, how has that differed for you as the president of baseball ops as far as your preparation when you're trying to prepare for a draft during a pandemic?
It's been extremely different. It's interesting. Like our amateur staff, Billy Gasparino, they've done an unbelievable job, and it has provided some, moments of actually like focusing on stuff that's fun to focus on whenever I've been able to jump on those calls and have kind of gone region by region and breaking down players. It's interesting because it's going to be less information than we've ever had. Obviously, most seasons got cut really short for high school seniors. It's obviously a big deal for college juniors. Just there's a lot of kind of games played that we're going to miss out on. But it's interesting because the amount of information we do have, we're going to know way better than we ever have. And like where that trade-off is in terms of, how well positioned we are versus other years, it's going to be interesting because I think naturally at first it was just going to be the downside of a shortened season. But there's a chance that we're going to know these things kind of way more than we ever have. And we just yesterday started going on our twice a day, 3 hours each time, really breaking down. We're on college right-handed pitchers right now, going to lefties next, and kind of start merging it and setting the board up, and it's coming. And our guys have done an unbelievable job of having us really well prepared.
Walker Buehler was a right-handed pitcher out of college, and your first draft with the Los Angeles Dodgers was in 2015. And Walker Buehler was the guy that you picked in that draft, first pick of your draft, actually, as far as the Dodgers were concerned. What'd you like about this kid?
You know, going into
Ross Stripling is saying nothing. I don't know that that's true.
I haven't talked yet. That was my first time.
All right, Strip, give us a Walker breakdown.
Well, I was gonna say trade up and get that kid from A&M, Andrew.
We would like to.
No, I tell you what, I'll humble brag on Walker too. I mean, I had a Tommy John out of the draft kind of right around when I did, and I was just about to leave to go break and play for the first time in 14 months, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go walk over and watch Walker's live BP?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Who is this kid?" It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen in my whole life. I mean, he was like 7 months out of Tommy John and throwing like 98 in a live BP, and it just was. I was about to head to low A. Like I was just not feeling good about myself as I walk over and watch Walker do that. So he doesn't even.
I got yelled at pretty thoroughly for that as well.
I was just about to say we had to keep telling Walker to throttle back. Like it was too early on for him to be throwing that hard.
But that's not his personality. I don't know that Walker can physically and mentally throttle back. What was it about him from all the scouting reports, the scouts that went to Vanderbilt to see him pitch, everything that you had learned about him? What was it about him that was deserving of the pick that he earned?
Yeah, I mean, going into his junior year, you know, kind of going into that spring, we kind of set up what we think, you know, our ranking is kind of going in, and it helps to allocate time for our different scouts and our cross checkers. And Walker, we had is like top 5 in the country. And so from our standpoint, going into January, we had no chance of Walker being there at pick 24 or 25, wherever we picked. And so we didn't spend a lot of time early. And then I guess the silver lining for us is the injury that he had, you know, allowed us to have a chance to draft him where we did. And I think we got everything right in terms of the ability. We may have been a little bit off on the makeup, but the ability part we nailed. But having him come in and, you know, just the way he kind of dedicated and focused and with the rehab process, and then coming out of it, you know, we knew he was a special one right away. And, you know, obviously we've gotten a chance to watch him the last couple of years and the impact he's had in the regular season, also the postseason.
Yeah, Walker on the pitching side, and then Gavin Lux on the position player side in 2016, the following year. What was it about Gavin, Andrew, that influenced your decision to make him your first pick in 16?
You know, I think, you know, looking back at it, and obviously there's been a huge amount of growth from, you know, the player that we drafted to where he is now. But that was kind of our scouts' bet, and that was, you know, their take on his makeup and his aptitude and athleticism, and, you know, that there were a lot of good things in place and a lot of ceiling that you could potentially tap into. And, you know, to Luxie's credit, like immediately upon coming in, he was a sponge and really curious and kind of digging in on different things, and went through a little bit of a swing change and, you know, added strength and maintained the athleticism while doing it. And we just watched him continue to grow and develop into, you know, what we fully expect to be a really, really, really good major league player.
Yeah, full of potential, obviously a sponge, and now he's watching this Zoom from the back row of a movie theater. I'm not sure what's going on with Gavin Lux fighting right now, but that's fine.
Hey, I'm in Wisconsin.
Yeah, first round draft
2 hours later.
16, and he can't afford lights. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's not a problem at all. All right, Walker, you obviously had pitched in or at Dodger Stadium prior to becoming a Dodger. You pitched there with Vanderbilt. What was that like for you? And then being able to do it as a big leaguer?
Yeah, you know, I didn't really think about it too much at the time. I was just kind of happy to be pitching at a big league stadium, and then I guess one of the three years later to be, you know, pitching there for real was obviously kind of a surreal deal. But you know, I think Andrew liked 2 of my teammates better out of the draft too, which I want to go on the record. So, you know, it was just kind of a weird deal. He also drafted the guy that relieved for me in that game as well. So we had 2 guys that were drafted by the Dodgers on our team that pitched that day.
How many Vanderbilt people do we have in our organization now? There's got to be
Too
like
many.
10.
Too many.
we finally got another Aggie last year, so we got 2 now. 2.
We have 2 Vanderbilt guys on our roster on our 26-man right now too, right? Between Walker and David Price. We don't have anybody else on the 26-man from Vanderbilt, right?
No, we got 2 in the minor leagues, right? Or is it? No, 3. Ferguson.
Yeah.
All right. Steve Sachs was not necessarily a first-round draft pick, but that doesn't mean you guys can't make an impact on the team. Obviously, Saxy, rookie of the year in 1982, but you were part of the 81 World Series team as a September call-up, and of course that 88 team. What was the draft process like for you? I would imagine very different than what these guys are going through right now, because you didn't have all of the tools, the video, everything that they have at their disposal.
No, we had black and white TV. We had the horse. It was a lot different. Actually, I thought I was, the word gets around. Oh, I went to a real little school in my high school, but I heard that I was going to get drafted in the first 3 rounds for sure. So I was anxiously, looking at the paper and seeing anything on the news, and nothing happened that first day where they draft 1 through 5. So I was a bit upset about that. And the next day, where they drafted, the second round through round 10. I called the paper up and I said, hey, was there anybody drafted from Sacramento today? And they said, yes, actually, there was one player drafted. It was David Sachs, my brother, who was in college setting records up and down the state. And I thought, well, good for my brother. And they said, wait a minute, no, that's a mistake. It was Steven Sachs that was drafted. I said, wow, even better. So, so that's how I got drafted. I found out through calling the paper, and I got drafted in the 9th round. But the only team I didn't want to go to was the LA Dodgers, because I grew up in Sacramento. If you grew up in Sacramento, you're a Giants fan, and I was a big Giants fan. And they told me I was drafted by the Dodgers, and I said, well, you know what? They're a great organization, and when I got into that organization, how could you not fall in love with it? It was tremendous, and I spent a little over 3 years in the minor leagues, and I got an opportunity to come up through an injury in 81, and I never went back to the minor league. So I was very, very fortunate to be with a good organization.
1982 National League Rookie of the Year. You were a 5-time All-Star. Who cares about the Giants? Giants who? Look what you did with the Los Angeles Dodgers. AJ, what was it like for you when you finally get the opportunity to realize your dream? You go to Notre Dame, you play there. You joke continuously that if it wasn't for baseball, you wouldn't have gone to Notre Dame. But what was it like for you realizing your dream?
Well, getting drafted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. That was pretty incredible. I probably was more of like a 3rd to 5th round pick, and then I went to the Cape and just lit it up and really put me on the map. So I wasn't expecting going in the 1st round, but it was pretty awesome. I got drafted by the Diamondbacks, and I had my house set up for senior year at Notre Dame, and they put me in A-ball, which was in South Bend, Indiana. So I really just went had my own house picked out already. Just stayed in the same place and played baseball professionally.
Nice transition for you. Didn't have to go very far.
Yeah.
Sax, you had said that, now you played the first time at Dodger Stadium in 1981, but I heard that there was, even though that was your first time actually playing there, it was very familiar to you. Can you kind of tell our viewers on this Zoom call why it was that you felt that you had already played there?
Well, it was really strange, and I haven't talked about this a lot. Is I had a dream throughout my life, probably 3 or 4 times. Once when I was like 7 years old, maybe another time when I was 11, and maybe another time in my teens, and then in just before I got there, I saw this. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was a very short dream. It was just a picture of like some kind of facade or whatever, and I didn't know what this was. It was just almost a glimpse or just a snapshot. And then the first time I walked into Dodger Stadium to the right field bullpen, I looked up towards above third base, and right up there was that cement facade that's exactly the same thing that I saw in my dream as a little boy and as a young adult. And I'll never forget that. I was absolutely flabbergasted when I walked in the stadium, because I'd never been to Dodger Stadium before and saw that. It was just amazing to me.
Very strange from a kid from Northern California that liked, from Sacramento, liking the San Francisco Giants, and yet had premonitions when you were young, and then you end up playing at Dodger Stadium. Now, Ross, you were almost a Colorado Rocky. You were almost pitching in that Coors Canaveral. everybody knows that it's maybe a little different, I'd say, pitching at Coors Field, but they selected you in 2011. How did your journey end up taking you to the Dodgers instead of the Rockies?
Right, good question. Yeah, so drafted in 2011 by the Rockies in the 9th round, and really never even thought about signing. I remember the scout comes and sits with my parents, and he's talking about, you're going to sign. We're going to send you to Casper, Wyoming. You're going to play rookie ball. And I'd like to interrupt him and be like, dude, I'm not signing. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going back to school. Go back to school and finish my senior year, get my degree, and then get drafted by the 5th round, or in the 5th round by the Dodgers. And I mean, what a blessing that was. Any chance you can be part of the Dodgers is great, but anytime you don't have to pitch in Denver for a living is kind of a win as well. So definitely thankful for that decision. It couldn't have worked out better. But yeah, it was when I turned down the Rockies in the 9th round, a lot of people were shaking their head, wondering what I was thinking.
Well, we for one are happy that you're still in the NL West, but with the Dodgers and not the Colorado Rockies. I know your back thanks you as well, because what if you would have gone to Colorado and been drafted by them and had to stay in that bed that messed up your back the whole time? That would have been terrible.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that back up. Yeah. Ritz-Carlton will never forgive me for that one.
Yeah, no, as they shouldn't. But you guys have all the Casper mattresses that they send you, so you're fine. You're fine. All right, MLB draft coming up in a couple of weeks. We talked to Andrew Friedman a little bit about that and how it's kind of changed his approach as far as the pandemic is concerned. And college baseball, you guys, as you know, doesn't have that same type of visibility as college football does. So the MLB draft is a bit different than obviously the NFL draft, the National Basketball Association draft. Jock, I'll ask you, because I know that you're a fan of basketball as well as football. Do you think Major League Baseball's draft will ever become perhaps as popular as the show that it is in the NFL?
I don't think so. Well, I know so, but yeah, I mean, you just have a lot of what are you laughing at, Bueller?
Your hair, first off.
I mean, you have guys that go straight from the college basketball and football that make huge impacts in the NBA in their first year, where that doesn't really ever happen in baseball. So there's usually a process of the minor leagues that makes baseball draft less interesting because it's not as relevant. And yeah, I mean, college football is a really big event. So is March Madness, and you're looking at guys who go on Zion Williams, for example, like who everyone watched him at Duke, and now everyone wanted to watch him with the Pelicans. So yeah, it's hard to compete.
AJ, do you kind of share that sentiment that, perhaps Major League Baseball should kind of expand their coverage of covering college baseball to make it more, or do you kind of agree with Jock that it's really not going to ever compare to like an NFL draft?
I kind of agree with Jock. I mean, when I was playing at Notre Dame, I mean, if we were to televise our games were about 33 degrees the whole season. So and then you pan to the stands and there's like 4 people in the stands. So I'm sure like Walker and, Strip, they have a lot better, they played at a, place that draws. They actually make a lot of money for baseball. Not to say Notre Dame's, program isn't great, but it's just, it's just a different type of thing. My experience was that. I think Jock's totally right. I think, you have to pay your dues a lot more in baseball. You have to go prove yourself in the minors. You have to prove yourself in multiple levels of the minors most of the time. And yeah, it just makes it so it's hard for a fan to sit there and wait that long to watch that guy that they just watched on TV get, actually make an impact on their team.
No question about that. Walker, you were shaking your head no about playing baseball in Vanderbilt. You guys had some cold games there too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it gets bad in Nashville kind of in the early months, but it'll heat up a little bit. And we were probably less than A&M. We drew a lot at the end of the season, but not so much at the beginning for kind of the same reasons AJ was saying. It's just a little too cold down there.
Yeah,
right.
Aggies show up in groves. I tell you that. And just to kind of touch on, I just think the college football and college basketball build brands big time. Like think about like Kyler Murray and now I feel bad I can't think of his name. What's the LSU quarterback's name?
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Like, think about. More people probably know Joe Burrow's name than know Mike Trout's name. It's just the ability to build a brand for college football and college basketball compared to baseball, which is probably impossible to do.
All right, guys, time for another fan question. This one is from Micah.
Hi, my name is Micah Augustin. I'm 13 years old and I live in San Diego. This question is to all the active players. Besides San Francisco, what is the most hostile stadium you have played in? Thank you. Bye.
Well, Ross, you liked pitching the first time you pitched. At the time, it was AT&T Park. Now it's Oracle Park, but it was your debut. You did really, really well. So, Walker, I'll start with you. What about the most hostile stadium you've pitched in so far?
Atlanta in the 2018 playoffs was for sure the toughest on me.
AJ, you have besides Saxy, you have the most experience at the big league level amongst this group. What about you as far as hostile ballparks?
Well, in the outfield, when I'm thinking hostile, I'm thinking like I'm actually scared for what the fans are going to do behind me. So I think when the Cubs weren't good, the fans there were all, they're drinking up a storm and they were just mad. So I'd say actually kind of worried for someone throwing something at me there. Philadelphia, same thing. Kids there sound like they're going to just jump over the fence and just try to attack you. But honestly, from the Diamondbacks, fans rooting for their team, hostile, meaning good crowd. I would say, Dodger Stadium was that, now I'm playing there. So you could definitely see the home field advantage there.
And Jock, as another outfielder, what's your perspective of angry fans or a tough place to play?
It's got to be Philly, hands down. I think it's a different breed out there, and you hear some things that you shouldn't hear, or the kids next to you for sure shouldn't hear. But yeah, Philly, pretty. They're not.
You played in a lot of ballparks in your day, and you didn't even have the opportunity to get to play at Oracle Park. You played at Candlestick. So what is a place that was pretty rough for you to play? Not necessarily maybe the fans, but just the environment in general.
I would like to just touch on that for a second. Candlestick Park, remember the locker room was way down the right field line. You had to walk from the third base dugout all the way across the field, down that line, and dodging batteries. I'm telling you what, watching Tommy Lasorda waddle from the right field down to the dugout was something to behold. This was really a precious moment. And as far as Philadelphia goes, that's a tough environment. It really is. You get this now. Before the vet was there, at a football game on Christmas Day, they were throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, okay? You're throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, that is a rough environment right there. So I'd say that's a pretty tough place.
Well, you had mentioned your skipper kind of waddling down to get back to the clubhouse. Now, keep in mind, this is a family-friendly Zoom party, okay? We have a lot of kiddos on here. What is your favorite Tommy Lasorda story?
Okay, so if you want me to be succinct and be in the G rating, I've got one for you. Okay, so here it is. I'll make it quick. We're in Philadelphia. This is a very tough place to play. Tommy Lasorda has a restaurant in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Okay, so a bunch of the players go to the restaurant in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and we get back about 3 o'clock in the morning. Really, really late. It's an off day. I get to my room and I fall asleep, and I wake up about 6 a.m. and I pull back the covers because I hadn't even gotten in bed yet. I pull back the covers and I feel something triangular and greasy in my bed, and I didn't know what this was. I pull back the covers and I look, and there's this gigantic pig's head in my bed, eyes bulging, apple in the mouth, and there's a note attached to the greasy ear. And the note says, "Saxy, you better start playing better or else," signed, The Godfather. Tommy Lasorda had this done, scared the absolute Jesus out of me. He got the pig's head, obviously, from his family restaurant, and Mark Cressy toted this thing 3 hours. I can imagine the smell in that car into my bed before I got there, and there it was when I woke up in the morning. It was scared the daylights out of me.
Did it work? Did you start playing better?
It befuddles me. I don't even know. It's a good question. But it
Somebody needs to look up your numbers pre-pig head and post-pig head. Someone needs to do that.
Pre-pig, after pig. I really don't know, but I remember gushing down to the lobby and saying, "Hey, there's a pig in my bed." And they said, "Mr. Sack, we don't want. No. We'll go up and check it out."
I think I know the actual rest of this story, but I don't think you can really tell it.
So they get up there, and there's this absolute pig head. And you see a bloody pig head in your bed, it's a scary thing. It really is. So,
that's a good G-rated version of that story. I'm proud of you. AJ, when you got on this call and you knew Saxy was on the call, you said that he was I don't know if you said the craziest or what adjective you used to describe him as your coach. Do you have any clean Steve Sax stories that you can share with us?
Saxy, are you nervous right now? Are you like
yeah, a little bit.
Saxy was with us for 1 year, and I'll tell you what, I got more stories of Steve Sax than any coach I've ever been with. As far as clean ones, I remember, it's not really a story, but I'll just kind of describe his coaching style. When he was the most fired up coach when you got to first base, like, I mean, he would almost run halfway and he'd be talking to you about how great it was. And then he loved stealing bases too. So he'd be in your ear and he would literally, he'd be like, "All right, I like this one right here. And then I would not go and he'd be like, yeah, that was way too quick. Don't go there. Yeah. And then he would go. And then when Gibby would give us the red light, Saxy would literally be yelling at him. He'd be like, "You see his foot? It's up. Yeah, it's red light. Dang." Like, he'd just start yelling at Gibby, "We want to go. Let's go." And he'd yell across the.
Well, AJ, the reason I did that for you, because you were a guy that could steal 40 bases a year at least. And, you'll continue to do it. I felt that you could do it.
Saxy, you're the best, man. You were hilarious. I also remember one time where everyone loses track of the outs and the strikes or whatever. Well, Saxy, usually it just takes you like a couple steps and then you go, "Oh crap, like 3 balls, not 4, or, 2 outs instead of 3. Well, Saxy is determined. He is literally, I think he got all the way down into our dugout, halfway down into the locker room. And he was our first base coach. And so we were trying to figure out where Sax went, and he was just gone. Just out. That was at Dodger Stadium too, right in front of all your people.
Ooh, I don't remember that.
We all do.
Okay.
We'll have to have a different Zoom so we can hear some other stories, but we got to keep it clean for the kiddos. AJ, I actually have another a fan question for you. Hang on.
Yep.
I'm Tristan.
I'm Shadjan. I'm Kira, and we're from Lancaster, California, and have a question for AJ.
Hey AJ, you're gonna teach the rest of the Dodgers how to play in front of no fans.
Go Dodgers!
I actually didn't know that was the question.
Wow. I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one because I still live here in Arizona in the off season, and I said 3 words during the Fan Fest, about there not being that many fans, and I've been stopped. I can't even tell you how many times I've been stopped. Angry Diamondback fans. So, yeah, if I didn't live here, I might answer that question. But I'll tell you what.
You got to stay safe. You got to stay safe now that you have a world to protect too.
Exactly.
All right. So I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the soccer match that they had on TV this morning, but it was a German soccer match, I believe. And they pumped in some crowd noise in the broadcast, which is probably maybe going to happen for your guys as far as when you guys start the games again. So Walker, what's your opinion on pumping in crowd noise? You of all people need some noise to distract you on the mound.
Yeah, I've been asked this question before, and my answer remains the same. I'm more worried about everyone else kind of hearing me as opposed to the other way around. So I am very pro fake fan noise, just so the other dugout can't really hear some of the things that I say during games.
Yeah, because we wouldn't want you to reel in that emotion. We want you to be the Walker Buehler that you are.
Well, if I can't do it on camera, then I probably can't do it in a game. So I think that's our only option is fake fan noise.
Okay. Gavin, what do you think? Hopefully the lights are on at Dodger Stadium when you guys play, but what do you think?
You guys told me to turn the light off because it looked bad. Yeah, I agree with Walker. I'd rather not If I fly out or strike out, I would rather not have anybody hear what I am saying when I'm walking back to the dugout, because there's definitely some choice words in there. So I'm going to go with Walker. I agree with him.
All right, Ross, you're the nicest human being in the world. Do you care? So you're not going to throw down any F-bombs, so.
Maybe this is the year. You know what? Well, I guess I'm curious what it'll be like. Will it be, you know, if you hit a homer, is it going to be like fans like clapping, or is it just like a constant like one sound that's just like if it's just that for 4 straight hours, that's going to drive us nuts, right?
Yeah, sure.
So if it kind of like ebbs and flows with the game, like are we going to have walkout music? You know, all that kind of stuff.
If nothing else, Dieter Rule will be there playing your walkout music on the organ. Actually, I'm not even sure if he's allowed. I don't even know who's going to be there, to be honest with you. Maybe we won't even have umpires.
Do you just hear it on the broadcast, or would it be played in the stadium?
Yeah, those are good questions.
That's a good question, right?
It's a great question, actually. I should have done a lot more homework than I did. So I'll get back to you guys on that. Jock, I have a fan question for you. Here you go.
Hi, Jock. I miss MLB, and how do you miss about MLB too? And peace sake. Do you have a peace sake too?
It's Luke.
It's Luke.
Thank you, Luke. Jock, that's for you. He has a Champ Peterson card in his hand. So your brother is more famous than you are. And he wanted to know, Luke wanted to know if you have any keepsakes that you really treasure.
Keepsakes. No, that's a pretty cool card. I actually have the same card, and I have it in my locker at the stadium. He's been yet to sign it for me, though. That's when it would be official. Yeah, I have some decent keepsakes along the way, but I'm still waiting for a ring, and I think that would be a championship ring would be the one to really keep. But I got a cool home run derby stuff, all-star stuff, but still waiting on that. Still waiting on that jewelry. So
yeah, I think that's a great answer. I think all of your teammates, as well as your president of baseball ops, would agree to that as well. But until you guys achieve that ring, which we know is coming, Andrew, what about you? Over your course of time in this game, what's one of your most memorable keepsakes that you've collected?
It's a good question. I'm actually sitting in my home office just off my bedroom, and I have a lot of stuff from the Rays and the Dodgers, and
we can't see any Dodger uniforms, Andrew.
We got some stuff. I'll invite you over. And it's nice just walking through every day. I actually get a trip down memory lane, and a ball from the first win that when I was with the Dodgers is right over there, and Mitch Poole did his infamous artwork on it. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to kind of go down memory lane and get a sense of, you know, this was my first year in 2006 as GM of the Rays. Not the most talented roster ever assembled. But so it's more the collection of everything that kind of helps tell the story over the last 15 years.
Steve, what about you? What's behind you? Is that a keepsake, or does it just look like a sports memorabilia?
Yeah, Alana, this is a collage of the '88 World Series with kind of Gibson going through the swing and hitting the home run, and different things about beating the Mets before we played the A's, of course. And I've been fortunate to have a lot of keepsakes. One thing I wrote down was I was on that team with Michael Jordan when I was with the White Sox. I went down to Double A because I had a foot issue and I had to go down there on a rehab assignment. So I spent spring training and a month in Birmingham with Michael Jordan. And it was great. I had so much fun. I learned a lot from being around him, and it was just a blast being there.
That's awesome. Now, of course, there was that Walker had actually tweeted that he couldn't even hit 200 in Double A, which is what Jordan did, which is not true because Walker, what were you, 1 for 4?
Mm-hmm.
Was that Walker?
Yep.
Everything went downhill right after the Walker homer. As soon as Walker homered, everything went downhill.
Well, I think one of the funnest thing I ever did when I was in spring training, Michael Jordan had a basketball in there, and he's lockered close to me. So I got to talk to him a bit, and he was kind of like Mike and Steve and Mike, you know, that type of thing. And I said, hey, Mike, throw me the ball, and I'm going to bounce it. I want you to kind of check me and guard me for a second so I can tell my kids Michael Jordan guarded me. So I'm dribbling the ball, right? And I'm looking back over my left shoulder, and I've done martial arts my whole life. and I'm looking back over my left shoulder, and I'm thinking, this guy's wide open for a side kick. So you know what I did? That's what I did. I just kind of leaned back and boom, I shot one, blade of my foot right in his sternum, and he went like that. He was like, I said, no, I just tapped him. I didn't stick it. I just tapped him and I brought it back, but kind of scared the heck out of him. It was kind of fun to do that. I'm the only guy in the world that's kicked Michael Jordan.
That's a good claim to fame.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has the same perspective of the story. I'll have to ask him if I ever get a chance to talk to the greatest basketball player.
Next Dodgers Zoom call, we'll get MJ on.
Yeah, can someone work on the goat, please? That'd be great.
Based on
you
that
have
documentary,
your,
he's just waiting for revenge, Steve.
Yeah, he probably is.
That was like the theme of that documentary.
you have your jersey behind you when you got drafted. Is that right? Is that your draft jersey? What is that behind you?
Yeah, it's a number 16 jersey, I think, obviously for 2016 draft. So yeah, my dad did a cool little thing and got it framed and all that good stuff. So
Do you have another, I know you're young in your major league career, but any other keepsakes that you really like?
Hard question. I think growing up, David Freese was always like a cool player for me, obviously. You know, him being a postseason hero, obviously, and him retiring. I got him to send me a signed bat and with a little message on it. So that's pretty cool for me.
What was it like growing up liking him and then playing with him?
I mean, I was never a Cardinals fan, but I watched all the playoff games, obviously. So him almost like single-handedly winning them that World Series was obviously pretty cool. And then way down the road, 12 years later, whatever, is getting to play with him and see how he handles his at-bats and just being around him as a person. It was cool.
I remember one of the questions last year is to Andrew Friedman particularly and Dave Roberts is, you know, when are we going to get Gavin Lux up here? When are we going to call up Gavin Lux? And then he comes up and now we're looking forward to his first full season as a Dodger. And Steve, what was it like for you getting that September call up and then, you know, being a part of the 81 World Series, Rookie of the Year the next year, and then having another World Series in 88?
Well, I was fortunate, Alana, to be on a really good team when I came up. So I had a lot of veterans. Dusty Baker, Steve Garvey, all those times. And Davey Lopes knew the writing was on the wall that I was going to be taking his position eventually. And he was great to me, extremely professional, taught me a lot about, you know, stealing bases. So I think that helped me so much to be on a team with a lot of experience and kind of like Gavin's coming into. He's coming into a ball club that's just absolutely stacked. A lot of young players with you know, with a lot of success. And that one jersey you have on the wall, Gavin's a great thing. But my friend, you're going to have a ton of stuff that you can look back on because I think Gavin Lux is going to be a superstar. I'm not going to put pressure on him, but I really believe that.
No, I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Very nice. All right, let's have Dieter Rule bring in the 7th inning stretch, and let's see some of these pictures from the Dodgers Zoom party from our fans. Thank you, Dieter. Our fans really love this. So you guys, again, thank you for taking the time to do it. Jock, I'm going to ask you this question first. I don't know how many of you guys watched the match 2 or the match number 2 over the weekend with, you know, the golfers, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Walker, I know you golf a little bit. If there's any professional golfer that you could have a round with, who would it be?
I think for me, it'd probably be Justin Thomas these days. He's from right up the road in Louisville, so I thought he did a pretty good job on the commentary on that thing the other day as well.
Have you golfed with him before?
I have not. I have never met or had any interaction with him. So I think it's hard to say not Tiger Woods, but I think for me personally, it's probably Tiger Woods then Justin Thomas.
All right. And Gavin, you're shaking your head. Yes. I don't know how much of a golfer you are growing up in Wisconsin, but if you could golf with anybody, who would you hit the links with?
I'm terrible at golf, so we're not even going to talk about that. Tiger, though, for sure. He's a GOAT. Come on. Got to be Tiger.
What about a video game that involved golf? Would you do that?
No.
No. Okay. No
I
golf.
want to see a Bueller-John Daly match.
Just from the commentary? And
that would have to be on HBO.
Okay. Yeah, that's a paid program for sure. AJ, what about you? If you could golf with anybody, do you even like golf?
I like golf. I just never play golf.
You'll never play golf again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I probably agree with Gavin there. Tiger's just kind of, growing up watching him go on that streak and, come back and just do what he's done. So, yeah, for sure.
Okay. And Andrew, I know in the CBAs and everything that these guys have, all their contracts, they're not allowed to do anything aside from baseball. They can't breathe. They can't play sports. They can't go, dirt bikes. None of this stuff are they allowed to do. If you could golf with anybody, because it's not in your contract that you can't, who would you golf with?
I don't know. Strip's got me thinking about John Daly. Just just the enjoyment factor, the watching and not knowing what's coming next, and it would be very, very entertaining. It's hard not to say Tiger, but feels like too easy of a way out. So Daly, Mickelson would be fun. I think there'd be a lot of gambling, and it would be fun.
Okay. Saxy, do you have any golf story? I know
Michael Jordan might make that list too.
Who's that?
I would say Michael Jordan, given the recent TV thing and his affinity for golf. I think that would be a cool one as well.
Yeah, guys, you can bet. Steve, did you? I know Oral would bring his clubs on the road. Do you have any golf stories back when you played?
Well, pitchers are the ones that play golf. They're not really the full
dedicated.
Play one every 5 days, and I get it. But golf, I get asked a lot of times. Do you think golf is a sport? I don't know if it's a sport. It's a tough game. It's too tough for me, and the game is too tough for me. I can't play it. But if I had to play with one guy, I'm going to go with Bill Murray at Caddyshack. That's the guy I'd like to play.
Oh, I like it.
I was going to say Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Why, I was going to say, why not Happy Gilmore? Happy. If you're going to go movie.
That's what I'm going Happy all day.
I could see you actually playing a round of golf with Happy Gilmore. I really could.
Check out the golf ball whacker guy.
They're going to wear that and he's going to wear the hockey. It's going to be a
I like how, Alana, your question was, who on the tour would you play with? And it's kind of devolved into Happy Gilmore.
It's just a free-flowing.
He's a real guy.
We just go where the conversation takes us, Andrew.
Yep, I like it.
That's how it goes. All right.
Got to stay nimble.
Baseball season didn't have the opportunity to start on time. Hopefully we'll get started at all. NBA, NHL, they're ending the end of their regular seasons or nearing the end of their regular seasons. They're trying to figure out what to do. So Andrew, I'm going to ask you as the president of baseball ops, I want you to play NBA commissioner. And here are your two choices.
I love this game.
So here's the scenario that you get. Okay. You either begin the playoffs with the top 8 teams in each conference beginning their typical playoff schedule, or begin an 8-team playoff with the top 8 teams in the league, meaning that teams would miss the playoffs that normally would have a chance in the current scenario, like Philadelphia and Houston. And we're talking Rockets, people, not Astros.
Right.
Right.
And I guess by continuing it and getting to the full 16 teams, I guess you're saying if you start I would do, and I know typically 8 seeds, 7 seeds don't win championships, but I bet if you froze a season at whatever 70% of the way in, there are some teams that are hovering around that 6 seed that then make a surge late and get up in the top 3 seeds that I wouldn't cut it off this year.
All right, Jock, what would you do? Because I know
I'm going full 8 in each conference, and
full 8. Did you
he's
say
going to disagree with me? He's going to disagree just to be on the other side.
Okay, Jock, what would you say? What would you do?
I'm going to disagree just to be on the other side. Andrew's soft. He likes to feel bad because he was GM for a small market team that wanted to get in with like a wild card or whatever. And it's like, no, it is what it is. You let the big dogs get after it and you go 8.
What if they add another wild card because of a crazy season in Major League Baseball this year? And there's
Andrew's
only
all for it.
But they add another wild card, and so how do you feel about that?
No, I don't think not everyone gets a trophy. Sorry, kids. I know you're watching. It's not everyone gets a trophy in this game. So it's a short season. Play better. I don't know what to tell you.
Preach. I love it. I love it, Jock. I love it. All right. Here's our final fan question. This is from Jen.
Hey, Dodgers. Like all of Los Angeles, I am missing going up to the stadium to watch you guys play. What, besides actually playing the game, do you guys miss about the stadium the most?
And I know you guys aren't allowed to work out together or go to the stadium or anything like that, but in the event that you all could congregate together again, what's the one thing you miss the most, Ross?
First thing that comes to mind is just being in the locker room with the guys, right? Whether it's cafeteria, gym, training room, or just the locker room, playing cards, whatever it is. Just miss being around each other every day and grinding through 162 games. There's nothing else like it. So that's certainly what I miss.
And Walker and Jock play cards together quite a bit. Jock, what do you miss?
Taking Walker's money. He usually pays the bills for me. So yeah, I don't like paying my own bills. Walker usually had it covered. No, I don't know. Just when I would drive to the field, I would always go on like that Too Fast, Too Furious way where you could see the whole city. So kind of just looking at the whole city is pretty gnarly, and especially with the less smog right now, it's probably pretty epic.
Yeah, no question. AJ, what about you? I know that last year was your first year as a Dodger. Don't forget to unmute yourself, but your first year as a Dodger, and what are you looking most forward to getting back with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, the easy is just being around the guys in the locker room. I think winning, you win, you get that, our songs playing, everyone's happy. And then, the game outside of the game, which is to just be able to beat the traffic after that. But I don't know. The end of the game when we all just kind of get together and, that's for me. I miss that. I miss being around the guys for sure in the locker room.
Yeah, there's nothing like trying to interview you guys on a Friday night fireworks game at home when you're out the door before we're even allowed in, but that's for another Zoom. Steve, I'm going to save this last question for you. As a former player, a man that's done that with what these guys want to accomplish, what's one piece of advice that you have for our active players? One piece of advice you have for our active players before we say goodnight.
Well, I think what you heard there on that last question was pretty telling. You heard a common denominator amongst the players that just answered that last question, and that was, what do you miss about it? I can tell you guys right now, as a former player, I don't miss baseball at all. I really don't, because I left it all in the field, and I think you guys play that same way. If you leave it all in the field, you'd be grateful that you don't miss the game. However, what you're going to miss, you're going to miss your teammates. They're always going to be your brothers. And guys I've had on the Dodgers and other teams, I see them now. We still finish each other's sentences. We tell the same stories and jokes. And one thing you'll miss is you'll miss your brothers, man. And I really miss my teammates.
Well, we miss you guys too. I know our fans miss you very much. I miss bothering you every single day. Hopefully we'll get back to baseball soon. Thank you sincerely for your time for doing this. I want to thank Blue California as well as Spectrum for sponsoring this, Blue Shield of California. We will see you next week, same time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Pacific for our next Dodger Zoom party. To all of our active players, to Steve Sachs, for Andrew Friedman, our president of baseball operations, thanks for being with us. And most importantly, thanks to you guys at home for watching. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.